We're honoured to have joining us today the Minister of Communications. There would have been a time, maybe 3 weeks ago, we would have said the new Minister of Communications. I think we can drop that now. And it's Minister Ayanda Dlodlo. Minister, good afternoon to you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
As a Communications Minister in a place like the World Economic Forum Africa meeting, there are plenty of other people to learn lessons from. On one level, our communications are great. On another level, people like Rwanda, Kenya, maybe have a few lessons for us?
Well, when it comes to issues of ICTs, they are light years away from us, ahead of us. So there's a lot that we can learn as a country. It's just a matter of really not going beyond the borders of the continent, because there are best practices within the continent that we could share in some of those best practices. But also get our youth to get involved in networking with youth from those countries, because that is where the generation of ideas comes from, the generation of innovative ways of doing that and views. So those are countries that we would want to learn from, and I think that's where we should be going to.
Communications is also a business. If someone can come up with a new app or a new this or a new idea, you can really create something new. We haven't seen much of that coming from Africa, but I always get the feeling it's just half a step away, because finally our infrastructure is catching up.
But again, I have the view that a lot comes out of the continent. It's just putting in the final touches to it and selling it to the world. But what usually happens, and I know this with quite a number of kids, they would develop something, we are not ready to receive and help develop further, and then they go to other countries for IP. So it then appears that it comes from another country when it is actually homegrown. I think our systems in government should be helpful enough and open enough for accessibility for these young children to come through with, even if it is just at embryonic stage, the work that they do to innovate, share it with government. Our systems should be able to help them. But it falls between the cracks, and our people don't get that type of assistance sometimes.
One of the really important organisations in all of this, of course, is the SABC. It's been in the headlines, well, I would say for all the wrong reasons. I don't know if you would agree with me or disagree with me on that. There's an interim board in place. One of the first things you did was enable them to start their work. Are you confident they'll be able to do what you think needs to be done at the SABC?
Well, they have their tasks set out for them. There's the report from the ad hoc parliamentary committee on broadcasting that has done its work. There are very clear things that they need to be doing. So I think they've begun the work that they were supposed to do. I couldn't hold back their appointment for reasons that were not even part of what was said was supposed to happen. They went through the process, they did the preliminary screening. I spoke to them about their financial disclosures. They did all of that. They had to start the work because they only had 6 months to finalize it. So even if they've not finalized, I'm hoping that Parliament by this time would have started the process of identifying new board members. But my wish is that when they do that, they should look at the critical skills shortages within the SABC and the problematic areas, and bring in people that will complement the leadership and the management of the SABC.
When you say that you had no reason to stop them from doing their work, am I reading too much? Am I being too conspiratorial to suggest there's a little bit of a criticism?
I went through the documentation.
Yeah.
I wanted things done. I had a job to do. I was new. Now that job was very clear. So I implemented what was before me, because I had the letter from the President proclaiming that they are now the new interim board. All I had to do was really implement that and get my colleagues to assist with the issue of pre-vetting, and that's what was done.
The SABC has been politicised, for argument's sake, I'll say for 10 years. There's been controversy around it. And it's not unique. If you go to any country in the world that has a public broadcaster, the fights are almost always the same. You have it in Australia, you have it in Britain, even have it in the United States in different ways. Do you think there is a chance that we'll have I'll call it a depoliticised or an SABC that is seen by most stakeholders as neutral? I
don't know where you were, because there has been politicization of the SABC for many years. It's not in the last 10 years. It's been there even apartheid era, even in the new government. And I think it's something that we have to live with, but find a way of managing it effectively so that it does not put us in the situation that we're in today. And you're right, where you find that there are public broadcasters, it is the way that it is in South Africa. But it's a matter of the leadership, how it handles issues, to make sure that the public broadcaster does what it's supposed to do as per its mandate that is given to it legislatively.
So you don't belong to Friends of Cloudy's organization or anything?
I am my friend. I am my biggest fan, my biggest friend. So I'm not nobody else's friend.
Can I talk a moment about digital terrestrial television? And I think it's been 4 of your predecessors who've had to try and deal with this issue. And it's a very difficult issue. We've fallen way behind. We're way behind the deadlines from the international organizations, the United Nations. There is a constitutional court case. As I understand it, that's about the technicalities of the decision that was made. The issue about whether we go for whether we go for encrypted digital television, which I think is the ANC's view, or whether we go for unencrypted. In the end, it's probably going to land on your desk. So, encryption or unencryption?
Well, all that I know is that right now the court has said encryption. All that I know is ANC policy. My responsibility is to implement the policies of the government of the day for the better good of our people, for the better good even of the SABC and other broadcasters for that matter. So I will look at it from that point of view. What do the courts say? What do our policies say? What was the policy of the government in the first instance? And if it was changed, why was it changed? There might have been very good reason, but I have to do things in the way that one is expected to implement the policies of the government of the day.
Just to be clear, so the ANC's policy is encryption. That's the way you would go for now, unless someone changes the policy in December.
I'm not a revisionist. I'm not going to change ANC policy unless when we get to conference in December, the direction is that that policy must be changed. I will look at it in that way. But right now, I stick to the policy of the African National Congress.
Minister, thank you so much for your time, and I really hope you last a lot longer in this portfolio than many of your predecessors. It's been a difficult job for so many people.
2 years I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.